Welcome back to the equations unit. We're going to be talking about multi-step equations today. This is part 2 of multi-step equations. So if you haven't watched part 1, you want to go ahead and do that first. But if you have, let's go ahead and look at some key ideas. So here are our steps to solving an equation. Remember, step 1, we're going to be drawing a wall down from our equal sign. Then we're going to either combine like terms or distribute, depending on what the equation gives us. Then we're going to need to eliminate the constant by using inverse operations. And then finally, eliminate the coefficient by using inverse operations. So let's put that into practice by doing example A right now. So here we are at example A. First thing I'm going to be doing is drawing my wall down from my equal sign like I have in every other problem that I've done solving equations. Then I need to figure out, do I need to distribute? Do I need to combine like terms? It looks like I may need to do both. But first I'm going to have to start with distributing because I've got my 4 outside my parentheses there. So I'm going to be distributing my 4 to my x and distributing my 4 to my positive 4. So now I'm not going to distribute that 4 to the 10 because the 10 is not inside the parentheses. So 4 times x is going to give me 4x. 4 times positive 4 is going to be positive 16. And then bring down my positive 10 because I didn't do anything with that. And bring down my equal 52 because I didn't do anything with the other side of the equation either. Now, the next step of my equation, I need to combine like terms because I have two terms that are the same. I have positive 16 and positive 10. Those are both constants, so I need to combine them before I can go any further. So I'm going to bring down my 4x because I'm not doing anything with that. Positive 16 and positive 10 added together are going to give me positive 26, and then bring down my equal 52 because I did nothing on that side of the equation. Now I have a two-step equation, and I know how to solve those. So first I'm going to get rid of my constant. I've got plus 26, so the inverse operation or plus or addition is subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 26 on both sides of my equation. Positive 26 minus 26 is going to cancel out. Bring down my 4x, then 52 minus 26 is 26, so 4x equals 26. Then I need to do the inverse operation of multiplication. Since I have 4 next to the x with no operation in between, I know that means multiplication. The inverse operation of multiplication is division, so I'm going to divide both sides by 4. 4 divided by 4 is going to give me 1, or 1x. And then 26 divided by 4 is going to give me 6.5, or a decimal. And that's okay. I can get decimal answers. Decimals are a part of life. So then x equals 6.5 is my final answer. Now let's take a look at example B. Here in example B, it looks like I just have to figure out whether I'm going to be doing the distributive property or I'm going to be doing combined like terms. So the first thing I need to do is draw a wall down from my equal sign. Then I need to distribute the negative 3. So I'm going to distribute the negative 3 to the x and the negative 3 to negative 6. So negative 3 times x is going to give me negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 6. Negative times a negative is a positive. And if I'm not sure, I can use my calculator. That's going to give me positive 18 is equal to 42. Now I need to get rid of that positive 18 because that is the constant. So the opposite of positive is negative or subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 18 on both sides of my equation. Positive 18 and negative 18 are going to cancel out. Bring down my negative 3x. 42 minus 18 is 24. Then I need to get rid of my coefficient. And since I've got a number next to the variable with no sign in between, I know that means multiplication. So the inverse operation of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is positive 1, or positive 1x. And 24 divided by negative 3 is negative 8. So x equals negative 8. Now let's take a look at example C. Here in example C, the first thing I'm going to do is draw a wall down from the equal sign. Then I have to figure out what I need to do first, combine like terms or distributive property. It looks like I might end up doing both, but first I'm going to have to distribute that negative 2 to the two numbers inside the parentheses. Remember, I'm not going to distribute it to that third number because that third number is not inside the parentheses. So I'm going to distribute negative 2 to the x and negative 2 to negative 1. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 1. Negative times a negative is a positive. If you're not sure, remember, use your calculator, use your math tools. That's going to give me positive 2. Bring down my positive 4x is equal to 14. Now I need to figure out the next step of my equation. It looks like I'm going to need to combine like terms because I have a negative 2x and I have a 4x, so those two terms are alike. So I have to combine them before going forward. So I'm going to combine my negative 2x with my positive 4x. So positive 4x and negative 2x are going to give me 2x. Again, use your calculator if you're not sure when combining like terms. Bring down my plus 2 because I didn't do anything with that, and equals 14 on the other side of the equation because I didn't do anything with that. Now I've got a standard two-step equation, so I need to get rid of my constant. So I'm going to get rid of my plus 2 or positive 2 by subtracting 2 or negative 2. All terms mean the same thing. Positive and negative 2 are going to cancel out to give me 0. Bring down my 2x. 14 minus 2 is going to give me 12. And then I need to get rid of my 2. Remember, if I see nothing there in between the signs, I know that means multiplication. So the inverse operation of multiplication is to divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, or 1x, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. So x equals 6. Now let's move on to our final example. Here we are in example D. First thing I'm going to do is draw a wall down from my equal sign. Then I've got a very large division-y problem, and I've got a plus 3 on the opposite side. So I'm going to be taking multiple steps here, but I need to make sure that I'm moving things that are closest to the variable last and moving the things that are furthest from the variable first. So the thing that is the furthest thing away from the variable is that plus 3. So that's the thing that's going to go first. So I'm going to be subtracting 3 on both sides because that is the thing that is furthest away from the variable. Plus 3 and negative 3 are going to give me 0. Then I need to bring down that whole problem. Negative 4x plus 1 divided by 2. That whole thing needs to come down. 8 minus 3 is going to give me 5. So now I need to get rid of either the negative 4, the positive 1, or the 2. And I can't get to that negative 4 and I can't get to that positive 1 because they're all being divided by 2. So the first thing I have to do is get rid of that dividing by 2 because, again, it's the furthest thing away from the variable. So the opposite of divides by 2 is multiply by 2. So I'm going to multiply by 2 on both sides of my equation. 2 divided by 2 is going to give me 1, or it's going to leave me in this case with 1 negative 4x plus 1. And 5 times 2 is going to give me 10. Now I need to do the inverse operation of my constant. And since I have positive 1, the inverse operation is going to be minus 1 or negative 1. So I'm going to subtract 1 on both sides of my equation. Positive 1 and negative 1 are going to cancel each other out. I'm going to be left with negative 4x. 10 minus 1 is going to give me 9. Then I need to get rid of that coefficient. Since I see nothing in between, I know that means multiplication. So the opposite of multiplication is to divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 4. Now 9 is not divisible by negative 4, so I'm going to have to leave my answer as an improper fraction. This is the most simple form that I can get. I can't divide 9 and 4 by any number that is the same. So my answer is going to be x is equal to negative 9/4. Now, that brings us to the end of this video. So if you like this video, go ahead and throw us a thumbs up. If you love this video, go ahead and throw us a sub, and we will catch you in the next one.